Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of GT History, the video series where I talk about some of the craziest stories of the most capitalist MMO out there, Growtopia. Growtopia is a game of many mysteries, one of which is the topic for today's video. This mystery has something to do with the legendary wizard, and it is so hard to solve that even Seth himself wasn't able to do it. So what is this mystery all about? Did it ever get solved? And what would happen if that was the case? Well, you will find out if you watch today's episode of GT History. It all started in the summer of 2015. A new text was found in the secret of Growtopia, which is a consumable that gives you hints for finding new items. And all it said was, "Ask the wizard, young fellow." People quickly started pointing out that a low-level player should go to a legendary wizard and check what he says. And when they did so, they found something really weird. The wizard said, "Psst, okay, the wizard council really has my hands tied on this. I can't actually tell you anything about it. But, well, they always let me say cryptic stuff, so here. Beneath verdant skies, resting on molten scoria, a delicate sapling takes root, child of the heavens and the earth. In time it bears fruit. Wisdom." What the hell does that mean? Can you make anything of that cryptic nonsense? Back in 2015, people couldn't. And I think that still is the case today. Or do you have a clue? If you think you know what it means, you can pause the video and leave a comment down below, because I'm going to reveal what it means in just a second. Back in 2015, players went crazy about this. There were threads everywhere on the forums, and people made up crazy theories about what it could mean. To give you an idea, in July of 2015, a thread was posted by the player called Dino855 discussing the mystery findings, which got over 23 pages in just under 3 days. Players were discussing recipes with crazy ingredients, using super weird constructions, and some players even talked about recycling their legendary items. But that was just the first step in a series of mysteries to come. Many players tried to find out what this mystery meant, but there were 3 main groups working on it. I present to you Dino855 with the forumers versus TK69 and his team versus Techie. The hunt was on and there was no going back. After a week without any news, there suddenly was something. A player by the name Poison Wolf was in the possession of an item called Shifting Scroll, and nobody knew how to get it. And since he didn't want to share how he got it, because he wanted to profit as many diamond logs as he could, he didn't give any hints. He then went on to sell his scrolls to TK69's team for an unknown amount of world logs, but it gave them a huge advantage in finding out what this mystery was all about. That's also the point where the drama really started on the forums. People were getting mad that TK69's team didn't want to share any information about the cryptic scroll or how it was made. Players also accused Poison Wolf of being too greedy, and they tried to spy on him every time he was on in-game. Speculation threads interpreting what the wizard was saying were everywhere on the forums. But then, after 1 month, TK69 and his team decided to share how to make the cryptic scroll, since they didn't know what to do. If you take a look at what the wizard was saying, you will find out that every sentence has its own meaning. The first one meant that you had to do it during Night of the Comet, because verdant skies refers to the color green and therefore means Night of the Comet. The second line, resting on molten scoria, refers to lava, which means you had to do something on lava during Night of the Comet. A delicate sapling takes root means that you had to splice something, which is described in the next line. Child of the heavens and the earth refers to a star seed and a dirt seed. So that's what you have to splice on top of lava during Night of the Comet. Once you do that, you will get a shifting scroll, and that scroll has 1 of 20 different words written on it if you do info on it. When reading these words in the right order, you will get the sentence, quote, "Place laboratory on leaf block and insert afro and dungeon door seed and this scroll and then punch it at midnight." TK and his team did this a few days ago already, since they had the shifting scroll much earlier. But in a forum post he described that when they first tried to do the recipe at midnight, it didn't work. and 1 minute afterwards, a system message appeared saying, "Patching a bug related to midnight. To people who know what I'm saying." Which basically meant that Hamumu watched them trying to craft the recipe, but when it didn't work, he just restarted the server and fixed it. So that's a crazy journey already. But how much more is missing to solve this mystery? The answer is just a few more steps. Once people were able to do the recipe described in the shifting scrolls, they got one of 4 new scrolls called Cryptic Scroll, Really Cryptic Scroll, Exceedingly Cryptic Scroll, and Needlessly Cryptic Scroll. Bro, that's a lot of scrolls. Those 4 scrolls also were the hardest to solve. The only thing that was interesting about them was their in-game item description, which basically was a bunch of random letters. As you can see on the screen, they don't make any sense, and people were going crazy on the forums about them. New stories, new theories, and crazy conspiracies were formed, and it even went so far that the official Growtopia Twitter account, which was managed by the co-developer Seth, tweeted out that he didn't know what it meant or how to solve the mysteries whatsoever. At that point, it really took a long time until people figured something out. But after a few weeks, Techie's team suddenly got to the next step. They found out that if you put the scrolls in the correct order and read the letters vertically, you will get the sentence, quote, 7 Growtopia mascots dance on a single toilet underwater beneath a sparkling disco ball. So that's weird, right? A Growtopian mascot is the little Growtopian that you see on the app icon, for example. Or the mini Growtopian, it's the one with the red hair, green shirt and the jeans. And if 7 players wearing these items dance under a disco ball on a toilet with a water block on them, they will spam purple.html. And if you then went on to growtopiagame.com/purple.html, you will be greeted with a purple website, a bunch of random dates and a few spaces to fill out. The website doesn't work anymore, but it's still on the Internet Archive, so you can check it out if you want to. And so here we are. This is the last step required to solve this big mystery. What's going to happen at the end of this crazy journey? Techie and his team really wanted to know too, which is why they gave their best to solve the puzzle on the website. Techie told me in a little interview how they solved it and what they did afterwards. He said that they just solved the last step required to get to the purple website, and they brainstormed what the dates would mean, when suddenly one of his friends said, they all got something to do with baseball. You see, these dates refer to days when people with names related to baseball died. They are Molly Pitcher, Bat Masterson, Lucille Ball, and Tommy Bond. It's kind of a wordplay. The word baseball fits perfectly in the blank spaces before the .html. And once you go to the website growtopiagame.com/baseball.html, you will find the end of the mystery. It's the recipe for how to make the wizard staff. Most of you probably know this item as a noob item and think it's really lame, but the day when it came out, it was really expensive since nobody knew how to make it yet. Players also quickly found out the recipe for the item called Emerald Staff, which consists of 1 transmog crystal, 20 emerald blocks and 1 wizard staff. I was playing on that day, and trust me, it was insane. People in the World Sea Diary went completely crazy over the new staff and wanted to buy it for multiple diamond blocks. But as it is always the case with new items, they eventually get boring and new stuff comes out, which is the same that happened to the wizard staff. People found out how to make it and it really dropped in price, and now it's a really cheap item that every noob can afford. But most players don't know the story behind it and have no clue what a journey it was to find out the recipe for this legendary item. Did you know the story behind the wizard staff? Or do you know any other mysteries in Growtopia, which maybe haven't even been solved yet? If you do, let me know down below in the comments, and maybe we can solve the next mystery in Growtopia together. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please check out my channel and subscribe. I make a lot of content that you would enjoy if you liked this video. Also, I work on a world called Make Growtopia Great Again in Growtopia, so you can check it out if you want to. I often do games in the world like you've seen in the background of the video and other cool stuff. The goal of the world is to make Growtopia a better place and focus on the social aspect of the game instead of only chasing world locks all the time. That's it, peace out.